The first time I saw her, I wanted to kill her. Her ship descended like a blade of black crystal through the clouds above Virelia Prime, the human colony I had been sent to defend. At her command, entire fleets of my comrades fell before her, their warships reduced to molten wrecks, their communication networks shredded in moments. She was beautiful, if terrifying, tall, regal, her skin a luminous silver blue that shimmered like liquid metal under the sun, her eyes violet and piercing. And she was my enemy. I was Captain Cale Arden, commanding officer of the 5th Varelian Fleet. Trained for war, hardened by decades of battles, I had learned one truth above all: never underestimate your enemy. But there was no training for the weight of seeing a living goddess standing atop the smoking ruins of your fleet, surveying the aftermath with an almost casual detachment. Submit, her voice rang out not through speakers, but directly into my mind. A telepathic projection, smooth as silk and sharp as a dagger. And I may grant your people mercy. I swallowed hard. My fleet had been annihilated, my men scattered into the void, yet my pride refused to break. I straightened my uniform and responded, "Mercy is irrelevant to the victorious. And I will not bow to you." She laughed, a sound that echoed through the atmosphere like music and thunder at once. Then she left. Her ships departed in perfect formation, leaving the charred skeletons of Varelian war machines behind. The days that followed were a nightmare. Our colonies scrambled to rebuild, civilians fled, and the council demanded vengeance. My own commanders looked to me for leadership, expecting a plan to strike back. I had none. Not yet. Not against her. I spent nights staring at her destruction, trying to understand it. Every strategy one had relied on failed against her. Every advance she made seemed impossibly coordinated, yet somehow instinctive. She was not just a queen, she was the apex of her species, a predator born to dominate. And still, curiosity gnawed at me. It started with reports, rumors that she had not only spared certain colonies but had returned with supplies to stabilize them. Then intelligence gathered by spies suggested she was studying human culture, interacting not as an enemy but as an observer. I resisted the thought. She is my enemy, I reminded myself, pacing my quarters. She exists to destroy me. And yet, when the offer came, I accepted it. A delegation, carefully orchestrated, brought me to her palace orbiting Virelia's sun. The queen awaited, alone in a chamber of transparent floors, through which her capital city glittered below. I entered with my head high, every inch of my body prepared for battle or imprisonment. She rose from her throne as I approached. "Captain Arden," she said, her eyes scanning me like a predator assessing prey. "I wondered when you would come willingly." "I did not come willingly," I said. "I came because it is strategically necessary to meet with my enemy before she strikes again." "And yet," she smiled, tilting her head, "here you are. Already showing courage, or foolishness. Perhaps both." Her laughter echoed, smooth and melodic, as if testing me. I didn't flinch. "What is it you want?" I asked. "Observation," she replied. "I wish to understand you, to understand your species." I narrowed my eyes. Observation can be done without inviting the enemy into her own palace. "Perhaps," she said. "Or perhaps you misunderstand me. I wish to speak. Truly speak. With no shields, no fleets, no intermediaries. You will see the truth of me. Or refuse, and continue your fight from afar." There was no honor in refusing. Not really. And so, I stayed. The first days were tense. She spoke in riddles, in metaphors, sometimes in silence. I answered with caution, testing, learning. Her mind was sharp, capable of seeing patterns in history and behavior I could barely comprehend. Yet beneath the cold, calculating exterior, I caught glimpses of something more: curiosity, humor, even vulnerability. It was during one of these sessions that I first laughed in her presence. She tilted her head. "You find this amusing?" "Yes," I said. "Because you're predictable in ways you don't realize. You expect us to fear you, to crumble before you, yet here you are, asking questions instead of giving orders. It's unexpected." Her violet eyes narrowed, and then, for the first time, she smiled, not the predatory smile that destroyed fleets, but a private, almost shy curl of lips. "You amuse me, Captain," she said softly. "Be careful. That is dangerous." I had never thought I would spend hours with the enemy of my people, laughing together in a room suspended above a city we both could command, but there I was. And every day, the walls I had built around my heart began to crack. Weeks passed. My role evolved from prisoner or potential prisoner to something else. She consulted me on matters of governance, of human psychology, of diplomacy. She wanted to understand love, loyalty, courage, and fear. I realized she had never experienced a being like me, unmodified, unaugmented, flawed yet fiercely resilient. One evening, after a discussion that had lasted into Virelia's long night, she finally asked the question that changed everything. "Why do you continue to fight me, even knowing you cannot win?" I considered her, feeling the weight of centuries of instinct on both sides. "Because if I stop," I said, "I am no longer human. I am only another conquered mind." "And yet," she said, "you stay in my presence. You do not flee. You do not resist entirely. Why?" The truth rose unbidden, startling even me. "Because you are unlike anyone I have ever faced. And, because I want to know you." There. I had said it. I felt my heart hammering against my ribs, waiting for a reaction. Her expression softened in ways I had never seen. The queen who had destroyed my fleets, who had cut through my defenses with ease, looked at me with wonder. "You surprise me," she whispered. "You speak with honesty, even when it could be your undoing." I shrugged. "Perhaps that is the only way I survive, by being honest, even when it terrifies me." She stepped closer, so close that I could feel her warmth, impossible and alien, radiating like a quiet sun. "You are unlike any human I have met," she said. "And yet, I feel drawn to you." The shift was subtle at first. Meetings became longer. We discussed music, art, history, not as adversaries, but as two minds exploring the unknown. She shared memories of her youth among the stars, of clans and traditions, of love that was ceremonial but lacked passion. I shared stories of Earth, of humanity's chaotic beauty, of love that was raw and fleeting but real. One night, as I stood beside her on a balcony overlooking the luminescent city, the silence between us stretched comfortably. Then, without warning, she reached for my hand. "I am curious," she said, "about what it feels like to be human in heart, in flesh, in desire. Will you allow me to know?" I felt a rush I had never known. My mind screamed caution, my body obeyed impulse. I took her hand, interlacing fingers with her. "If you truly wish to know, I will not refuse you." From that moment, everything changed. Our relationship grew in ways both delicate and ferocious. I was no longer her enemy, but neither was I fully her consort yet. We tested boundaries, navigated the dangerous terrain of politics and tradition, and discovered that trust could be as powerful as any weapon. The council was scandalized when I was officially invited to the throne chamber. A human, sitting beside the alien queen, advising on matters of state. Diplomats whispered about audacity, generals muttered about foolishness, yet no one could deny that the queen's decisions had become wiser, her empire stronger. And then the challenge arrived. A faction of her own people attempted a coup, seeing me as a threat, an interloper unworthy of her trust. The Hall of Shadows, as it was called, descended upon us in an attempt to remove me permanently. I did not fight with weapons, At least not initially. I fought with strategy, psychology, and the trust that Seraphel had placed in me. Together, we outmaneuvered the conspirators, using knowledge of human tactics and her alien intuition to preempt their moves. By the time the Hall of Shadows realized what had happened, they were already defeated. Afterward, she turned to me, eyes glowing with pride and something more, something tender. "You have not only survived my people," she said softly, "but earned my trust, my heart." I blinked, stunned. "Your heart?" She nodded. "Yes. From enemy to consort. That is how we survive, Kale Arden. That is how we thrive." I laughed, a short, breathless sound. I never imagined that my enemy could become this. "This," she repeated, placing a hand over mine, "is more dangerous than war, Captain. But it is also worth everything." Years passed. I became her consort, advisor, and partner. We ruled together, not as conqueror and subject, but as equals, two beings from different worlds, united in purpose and in heart. Our bond became a symbol, a bridge between species, a testament to what could emerge from conflict, not destruction, but understanding. And still, sometimes, when I looked at her, I remembered the first time we met when I had wanted to kill her, and she had wanted to kill me. Yet fate, or perhaps something stranger, had turned enemies into lovers, fear into trust, battle into companionship. It was not an easy path. Diplomacy is never easy. Politics is never kind. And love between species is never simple. But in her presence, I discovered a truth more powerful than any fleet, stronger than any weapon, that hearts, when courageous, can cross even the greatest divides. From enemy to consort. From battle to bond. From war to love. And I would never forget the moment it began, the moment I looked into the eyes of an alien queen and realized that surviving her was not the ultimate victory. Winning her heart was.